I was born with bladder exstrophy to my parents my dad is a doctor and my mother's a nurse. It made for pretty easy for me actually, considering that they were both in the medical field and they could discern and talk to other people about what was the problem with my condition and what that entailed. But the great thing that I loved about my parents is that I never had to worry about them stopping me from anything. They definitely tried to treat me as much as a normal kid as I could, and whether that entailed camping or whitewater rafting or hiking a 14,000-foot mountain, that's what we did. That's what my parents were interested in, and so they took me right along with them, just like I was a regular kid. Obviously, sometimes, decisions had to be made in terms of whether or not things were possible, but most of the time it was just as much as I could do, basically, was the rule. So if I ever had any problems, they would definitely say, okay, we don't need to do this, but they definitely pushed me and drove me to try to achieve, I guess, new heights, whether it be physically or mentally. From Boulder, I had a great experience growing up. Obviously, all the kids growing up with conditions like these have hard problems with their peers, but with a little help from my teachers and some of my friends, I was able to help educate my peers and make a pretty good life for myself going up through school.
I did deal with quite a bit of teasing in my younger years, primarily for the way that I walked and certain noises that I made through my pouch and also just normal stomach noises. However, I have been able to work through those, much with the support of my family. They taught me to help work through that. I have had to seek other counseling and help, but it has helped me and I've become a stronger person because of that.
Okay, I'm sure there's a bunch of parents out there and you're wondering, how is your child going to move forward and move on? And you know what, that's a big question even the doctors have to this day. And back when they did the surgeries on me, there was a lot of trial and stuff. And what they're doing today with these children is phenomenal. And you will not believe what your child can do. There's nothing that you can dream of or imagine that they could not accomplish. Okay? The best thing and best advice I would say is just to be there for them. If they want to sign up for baseball, let them do it. If they want to try gymnastics or run track, anything in the world that they want to do, you do everything you can to make it happen. The ostomy or ostomies, whatever the situation, put that dead last. Those things there, your child will have the strength and the courage and move forward with it. That's their hurdle. They do not need any hurdles from the parents. Just let them be kids and let them do whatever in the world they want to and support them any way that you can.
The best thing my parents have ever done for me is always supported me in everything that I have done. They've always been there for me. They've encouraged me to excel and continue to try as hard as possible. They've never let me quit, but they've also not pushed me to the point where I've wanted to quit. They've always been very supportive, and I'm very appreciative because of that.
The best thing my parents did for me was support me. They're always there for me, and this is very important when you're growing up.
So here I am, I'm 23, I just graduated, and I'm still doing the youth rally. And the reason I'm still doing things like the youth rally is because I think that helps give kids that were once just like myself, that are just like myself when I was that age, hopefully self-esteem and the advice that you can do whatever you want. You don't need to be limited by your condition. What you need to be is you need to be focused on setting goals for yourself and working to achieve those goals. Sure, people with different medical conditions aren't going to be able to do everything in the world. There's things that I can't do, like go out in the wilderness and live there for 6 months at a time. But that's a minor inconvenience. You just got to look. You got to think of looking at what you can't do and start looking at what you can do. And that's a big turnaround that we see with a lot of the kids that work here, and it's absolutely amazing. Now, when parents come into the mix, parents are obviously the nurturers and the ones that the kids are going to pick up most of their habits, their personality, a lot of things from. a lot of their knowledge. I mean, the parents are just instrumental in all these things. And I was really lucky enough to have parents that understood that I had a condition, but also understood that I needed to grow up just like a regular boy. I needed to be able to scrape my arm, and I needed to be able to, do things that I could possibly get hurt. And I did. I mean, I've broken both my arms, I've broken my leg, and that's something that happens to all kids. And I think the one thing that really gets on my nerves personally is when I see kids come in who can readily adapt to any situation, but their parents feel that they need to be held back. And I think as a parent, your job is really just to support them, love them, but also give them the drive so that they can do whatever they want, and make them feel like they're not limited by their condition. Give them that, I don't know, a certain je ne sais quoi that makes them who they are. Because bottom line, their condition is going to make them a stronger person in life, a more interesting person to get to know. And I know that many people that I talk to find me much more interesting because of this, and it brings out a lot more in other people that I can relate to about having to grow up with something like this than if I didn't. And so I think in the long run, these conditions can really change an entire life, and it doesn't have to be for the worse. It can be for the better. And as parents, you can help them realize those dreams and those, the possibilities that are endless, such as going to Europe or, taking on something like whitewater rafting and climbing mountains. You can be instrumental in helping them achieve that as long as you're just supportive and you want them to do that and you don't try to hold them back.
The best advice we can give to parents is just be there for them.
Just be there for them.
Just be there for them.